Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another show. Third show in a row for you guys, you know that. 3 shows in a row, I'm making up for it. That's what we're doing. Today's show is going to be on the match reaction in regards to Chelsea versus Man City. Chelsea with another loss. Not great, not great in terms of results against the top six in of recent as of home performances as well. We'll be discussing that. We're going to start off with a bit of upsetting news in regards to Gianluca Vialli, a Chelsea legend who has passed away. Well, we've been from what we've been told today as well, so we'll be discussing that as well. We've got some transfer news to also go over as well, so we'll be discussing the updates on Enzo Fernandez. We'll also be looking into Modric and a new link that we'll be linked to in the name of Thuram as well, who we'll be discussing. I am meant to be joined by CFC Pies at some point through the show. He did say 2 o'clock, so he should be joining us very soon on the show when he's ready as well. But guys, make sure that we're smashing them likes, subscribing to the channel as always, and let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. A very sad day for many Chelsea fans across the world, or all Chelsea fans across the world, including Chelsea Football Club. Gianluca Vialli, an ex-Chelsea coach, a Chelsea player as well, has passed away. We are going to start off with that quickly as well. Just as Man City yesterday, thoughts and opinions. Where did it go wrong for us again? With another L against our name, against the top 6 team, and other bits as well. So over 80 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are obviously tuned in on this Friday afternoon. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat before we move forward. RD says RIP Vialli. Put us on the map, help us get out of 2 European trophies. Sad day. Big up to you. Big up to Mixter as well. Leo, nice to see you. Zakaria was good. Very good. I thought he had a very good game yesterday. Was what Jordan's saying. Yep, we're going to be talking about Enzo as well. I'm not sure where to start, seeing a legend pass away or seeing my Chelsea go down while we've had such a real hard, horrible week, Chelsea fans, haven't we, really? You only got to look at the result yesterday, 1-0, the news in around what's going on with Enzo Fernandez as well. And then on top of that, the death of Gianluca Vialli all in 1 week. Yeah, not good. Luca, RIP Luca is what Lee Taylor says as well. Big up to you. Nice to see you. Sad about Vialli is what we've got from Citizens Man City fan channel. Nice to see you in here. Thank you for coming through. CFC Pez Lord says, stick Fofana up top. What, that try Fofana? Well, we're going to see what the plans are for him. You know, we have got a lot of youngsters, and we saw some of them yesterday with Lewis Saul. We saw Carney playing as well. We saw Omari Hutchison making his debut for Chelsea as well. And we're going to talk about them as well. Big up to Big Ronnie says, RIP Luca, shocking news. Yeah, it is sad news. Big up to Fator as well. Nice to see you, my man. Nice to see you. Who else? Aziz King, nice to see you. Andreas, big up to you as well. As per Matt Loracle, we are still alive for Enzo. Well, the Enzo Fernandez update will be later on in the show today. We're going to be discussing that. Hopefully, Pius will come through as well and can give us some more updates in and around Enzo Fernandez and where we stand with that as well at some point in the stream. Big up to Geordie Toon as well. Thank you for passing through. He says, Gianluca, thoughts with your family and friends during the surrender time. Love from all NUFC fan. Big up to you, bro. Thank you for coming through. Chelsea fan, big up to you. Hiking with Martin. Nice to see you. Been a while. It's been a while. CFC Hakim, nice to see you as well. Nice to see you. Undertaker CFC. Everyone that's tuned in, over 120 of you here already. Thank you for all coming in as well. And let's just quickly review the saddening news that we received today in regards to Gianluca Vialli before we get into things as well. Obviously, if you go on the Chelsea website, there's a little bit on about him. Born in 1964, unfortunately dying in 2003. And for many that are, there's probably lots to use in the chat that are very aware of Vialli and how he arrived at Chelsea and he's and you know, what he brought to Chelsea within that period. I was brought up watching because I was born in the early 90s. So I got to watch a lot of Vialli, Zolas, Dennis Wise, Poyets, Petrescu's, Tori Andre Flows, Mark Hughes. It was definitely an era that really stood out as a Chelsea fan. We played great football. We had player managers, if you remember. The manager would come on as a substitution in games, or even starting games as well. Yeah, it was a real interesting time of football. But we were a good team. We were always a very good team in the 90s. You know, he's unfortunately passed at the age of 58. He thoughts are out with his wife, Catherine, Sophia, and Olivia as well, and the rest of the family. Todd Bowley and Igbali have given their comments as well, which says, "This is truly an awful day for Chelsea Football Club. Gianluca's legend will live on at Stamford Bridge. His impact as a player and coach, are most important as a person, will be forever written across club's history." Obviously, Luca Vialli arrived in Chelsea in the summer of 1996, shortly after skippering Juventus to a Champions League glory. Considered one of the best strikers of his generation. He's captured by another former Serie A great, Ruud Gullit, the further underlined the steep towards Chelsea were on. What was missing at the Bridge was silverware, and in the first season, Luca played a pivotal role in bringing the first major trophy to the SW6 since 1971, trailing a 2-0 to Liverpool at half-time. I remember this game as well, you know that. Our FA inspirations were hanging by a thread. This was at the Bridge as well. Although the Blues were turned a fourth round time on its head, Vialli completing the comeback with a brace, the 4-2 win remains one of Chelsea's greatest in history. I remember that game like it was only yesterday. There were some vintage Vialli goals as well to be added into that as well. He was a very good striker. He was a proper number 9 in my opinion. Great finisher. Obviously, Gullit increasingly preferred a pairing of Gianfranco Zola and Mark Hughes up front, meaning several of the appearances were off the bench. Obviously, one of them was against Middlesbrough as well. The goals helped. He helped too. He scored what would prove the winner at Old Trafford in '96, nutmegging Peter Schmeichel. Remember that as well. So there's a lot here. I'm not going to read all of it because there's absolutely loads there. But when you get a chance, go and read into the article that Chelsea have put on their website in regards to the remembrance of Gianluca Vialli. And, you know, one of them, I remember that the Super Cup as well. You know, Gianfranco Zola scoring, coming on off the bench and absolutely rocketing a goal into the top corner as well. I remember that. Yeah, for me, he'll always go down as a legend at this football club for everything that he did as well. At this football club. So RIP to Gianluca Vialli. There's one little video clip that I have for you guys as well in regards to the remembrance of him as well, which was on the Chelsea FC page as well. I'll just bring it up here and mute myself.
The relationship with the supporters, it was from day one, it was very special. It was tremendous. I loved it, and I still hold them in my heart.
Vialli is there, tries the shot instantly and finds a net. Brilliant goal from the boss.
I'm great with him, and Luke and I have developed a fantastic friendship as well.
So Gianluca Vialli holds up his man. Oh, he's squeezed in.
I said, okay, we're going to change some things there. We played with 3 up front, Mark Hughes on, put Luke up there, and that changed the whole game.
On the pitch, it was something there was electricity on the air. It was something particularly special.
There we go, guys. RIP to Gianluca Vialli, and our condolences are out with his family on this one as well. But yeah, let's move on to other things in regards to Chelsea Football Club. And we're going to start off with the match reaction. Obviously, we're going to talk about the game yesterday. We've got transfer news in and around for you guys later in the show as well. We're going to talk Enzo Fernandez as well. Mudryk, there's another link that's been linked with Chelsea is a guy called Thuram as well, which we'll be talking about later in the show. Over 115 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are currently tuned in as well. Big up to Hamco, Techman, nice to see you. Ty Talks, nice to see you as well. Yeah, cancer. Big up to Couch Critic. And he was a young man, Ram. He was definitely a young man, definitely a legend as well for me as well. He goes down in that. The Borussia Mönchengladbach player, Mönchengladbach, if I'm right in saying, yeah. So yeah, we'll be talking about him as well. There's been some comments in around Chelsea linked to him, and especially on the back of what we saw yesterday, because from what we saw yesterday, again, injury crisis. One of the biggest issues that Chelsea Football Club have at the moment, and I don't care what any rival or anyone says, is that we are suffering from some serious injuries. We lost Raheem Sterling within a couple of minutes. It looks like it could be a hamstring. We'll wait for confirmation of that. And then on top of that, we'd end up losing Christian Pulisic to an injury as well from trying to score a goal, which was stopped by John Stones. It then pushed Graham Potter into having to utilize what is there, and the youngsters were then called on, and he brought on Karni Chukwuemeka as well. He came on and had a very good game, in my opinion. Who else did we bring on? We also brought on, we brought on Karni, we had Havertz, and we brought on Aubameyang, who again fails to deceive, but was just not good enough again yesterday in the performance as well. And we're going to talk about it because the overall performance yesterday was better. Don't get me wrong. I thought at least we had a go with a very weakened team, and the number of players that Chelsea are currently missing at the moment. There's a lot of key players in the names of N'Golo Kante, Wesley Fofana, Reece James, Ben Chilwell. You can add the Sterling and Pulisic to that list as well. You know, it's definitely taken a toll on us, and we are struggling for form. We've not won a game in 8, I think it is now as well. 1 in 8 we've won, which is not good enough. It's struggling times. We've got Man City again at the weekend, and then we go on to playing Palace, Fulham and Palace, which are our next couple of games coming up as well. So there's a lot of big games for Chelsea to go into, and ultimately it gets to the point of now, what are we doing with top 4? Because 10 points from top 4, you know, there's still a lot of games to be played. Struggling with injuries, struggling getting players back in, struggling with form. What do we do? Do we kind of look away from top 4, even though I think we're still going to try and go for it? I think, do we look away from top 4 and start looking about where we need to finish in positions in the league? Because I'll be honest, I don't really want to see Chelsea finish in the Europa League. I don't want to see us playing conference. I don't want to see us playing Europa League. I'd actually rather us have a clear season of any European football. If we're not going to make it, just don't make it at all. Finish 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever. You know, at the end of the day, I think as Chelsea fans, we have to accept where we are at the moment in terms of transition. Obviously, Graham Potter was had his interview yesterday, and from his interview, from what we heard from his interview, you know, even he was saying about having stability, but the injuries going against and it making hard and rotating and trying to find that consistency is very hard thing to do at the moment, especially as a manager of Chelsea. What he has to try and do still, and this is the only thing I will say, is that he's got to try and find a way with what he has to win games. And all right, it's Man City the other day, and we wasn't expected to win, but you know, there's a lot of games still to be played where you look at it and you think, well, this Chelsea squad should still be winning games. They should still be being able to accumulate some sort of points, right? So I think when you look at it from hindsight, I think we have to try and still accumulate as many points as possible, even against the teams that are lesser than us. No easy game in the Premier League anyway, but at the same time, you know, he needs to make sure that he picks up some sort of form, because at the moment, it's not good. Ivan Toney was at the game yesterday. Yeah, I see that Charlie had a picture with him as well, so which was quite interesting. Mason Mount was obviously injured, and he didn't feature in the game yesterday as well, which is what it is. Is what it is. But in terms of Graham Potter's position in role in the team, where does he stand? Well, we have this. So we have this comment here from Matt Law. It says that Graham Potter is still viewed as the man to handle this period of transition and put Chelsea back on the right path. The owners are confident the club luck will change. They believe the injury crisis has played a large factor. Look, there's not condoning the fact that we have suffered from injuries. That part of the reason why we can't put up with any sort of form right now is because of the injuries. You know, I get that. However, you know, what I will say to that is luck changes, but luck changes once the squad itself that you currently have actually can put some performances together and actually put some points on the board. And we're not doing that at the moment. And I think it's going to be very important for Potter to try and get these guys into some sort of rhythm. Yeah, he's still viewed as the man to handle it. And part of the reason for that is because of the big hole that they've digged anyway in getting rid of Thomas Tuchel and appointing this guy as our manager. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's too early to judge or not, he's going to be here for more than a season. But as this club progresses and we become better off the pitch squad as well, because I think we will strengthen this squad and they will spend money. I think they will do that. He's going to have to navigate the squad that he has. And the big question mark with Graham Potter is, can he navigate the players? Can he navigate, is he good enough to work with top quality players and bring the best out of them and put them in systems that work and et cetera, et cetera. And these are all things that are yet to be seen. But the one thing I will be saying, one thing I would say about Graham Potter, up to what I've seen since we've come back, he's now starting to play what he wants to play. He's now sort of, not say forcing the players to just play what he wants, but he's now sticking to what it is. This is what we're going to do. This is how I want us to play moving forward. You guys need to be, you need to work in playing in the system that I'm asking you to play in. And we saw yesterday that we played a 4-2-3-1. We played a 4-2-3-1. And it was a big, bold move to do. And in the first half of that game against Man City, I thought that we played quite well. We didn't create enough, and we know why we aren't creating enough. We know that we lack creativity across the pitch, from the deep line, from the forwards, from the wings. We know that's an issue. But the overall performance, the attitude, the bottle to just, get stuck in, have a go was there. And they did fight yesterday. And Erling Haaland got pocketed by Thiago Silva in that game. Completely pocketed. Yeah, I don't think he touched the ball for about 20, 25 minutes until Koulibaly passed the ball. But even Koulibaly, him and Koulibaly had a very good game. There's an argument on the goal, how the goal happened. Could Kepa have done better? Should Kepa have done better in that instance? I think he should have. And for me, that was a difference in the game. Because that lack of, I don't know what to call it anymore. Is it lack of concentration? Is it just error? What do you call that? What do you call the moment that we saw from Kepa? It's not that I hate the guy, and I keep telling people this. It confirms that he's just not a number one goalie. Like, we don't have a number one goalie. I thought we had it in Edouard Mendy, but the consistency's gone against him. And the hesitation, like Ram just said there, the hesitation in that moment to allow the ball to roll across, which he could have easily just lie down like that and collected, cost us the game and actually lost us the game. But on top of that, equally, even with that, we may have just got a point and drew that game, and that probably would have been the case, I think. We still didn't create enough at the other end of the pitch. We hit the post with Carney, who I thought had a great game as well. I was very impressed with Carney's performance for Chelsea. So, yeah, it kind of is what it is. Unfortunately, we are where we are because of the form that we're currently in at the moment. And Man City, for all that they did in the first half, which was nothing, came out in the second half and woke up a bit. And then they had a bit more control. They were a little bit more threatening. But I still felt that we held ourselves well. And I thought Zakaria and Kovacic had a good game, in my opinion. I thought Cucurella, even though he had some rash moments against some top players, done his bit. Silva and Koulibaly impressed me. Azpilicueta is just Azpilicueta. He's declining for me, even though he done what he could. I just still don't think he should have been on the pitch. Kai Havertz as a number 10 in the first half made 2 or 3 good passes through into the forward line. Equally when Pulisic got injured, but that then disappeared in the second half. Aubameyang is just non-existent. I don't really see the point of him. We're going to talk about him in a bit. Carney had a good game. And Ziyech just keeps proving to me why I don't think he's good enough. I just don't think he's good enough for the Premier League. So we know our issues. We know what it is. And it's a shame. But talking about Carney Chukwuemeka, who I thought had a very good game for Chelsea, this just goes to confirm it. This is all inside at 68 minutes. Carney Chukwuemeka has made more tackles, 6 out of 6 versus Man City in a single game than any other Chelsea player has managed in the Premier League all season. Now, has this guy pushed himself into the team? Barring Pulisic and Sterling being injured, yes. I was looking forward to seeing Pulisic and Sterling as our out-and-out wingers. We know they're direct. We know they can dribble to a degree, and we know they have pace. And I thought that losing them would have affected us massively. It did, kind of, in terms of the attacking impotence. It's a shame because I think with them on the pitch, with the ability and the experience, and I think we could have hurt Man City a bit more with them too, because I do think in front of goal that they could have put the ball in the back of the net. But equally, we lose them, and it just makes everything so harder. But this guy came in and he was immense. He truly was immense. Guys, we are going to be doing transfer talk very soon as well. I'm going to do a quick match rating for the players. Once we've done that, we'll then get into the transfers of the game as well. Big up to Vinny. Nice to see you, my man. Brilio says, easiest game of the season so far. Don't know what James Ziyech is what Magrello says. Lewis Hall offers more in attack than Cucurella. I thought Lewis Hall was very good. I like Lewis Hall. I want to see more of Lewis Hall. I think Lewis Hall was ready to play in the first team from what I've seen, and I think you'll see them start on Sunday. I think you'll see that they come in and play. Big up to JP as well. Nice to see you. 20 minutes in, guys. Over 200 of you guys here currently at the moment. I know we haven't got enough likes, though. So if we haven't smashed the like, please hit the like button now. Let's get them likes up. CFC Pies should be joining us around 2 o'clock, I believe, onwards. So he'll be discussing transfers. He'll be talking also about give us his views on the game as well. So stay with us. Lots to get through still in today's show as well. Let's be honest, Jim. Neither Pully or Rosa have exploded. No, but they're still a threat. And you saw it with the chance that Pulisic had in that game, which was fed through from Havertz to him. We could have had them. We have them moments. We have them in the team. Big up to Georgie. Nice to see you as well. Big up from Clive from Jamaica. Nice to see you. Dill CFC's in the house as well. So we played well. Unfortunate we couldn't get 3 points. Chukwuemeka and Zakaria balled out though. Yeah. I agree. But his final pass has always been like that as well. Pies will shit on Clive for sure. We're waiting. Pies is coming. Anyway, let's get into the player ratings. You know what you need to do, guys? Out from 1 to 10, give your ratings on the player performances as well. Talking about Pies, if you say his name loud enough, like you did in the chat here, Marvel, he will appear. Then there he is. CFC Pies is in the house. How we doing?
What's up, bro? It's been a while. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on, man. It feels good to actually just have a conversation just between me and you on the show. It feels like it's been a while, isn't it?
It has been a while, yeah.
But unfortunately, we're going to be talking about Chelsea on the unforeseen circumstances that we find ourselves at the moment, which is not great form. And it would be good to actually get your intake, your thoughts and opinions on what we're going to be talking about Pies' yesterday's game, but then also talking a little bit about transfers a little bit later in the show as well. So what was your thoughts, before we start talking about the players overall, what was your thoughts on the performance from Chelsea yesterday against Man City?
Well, I went to the game.
Yes.
What I will say is that I think it was better than I expected. It's still not good enough, obviously, but I think, we did have chances. I like the fact that we continued with the 4 at the back. I like the fact that he brought on some young players as well. And obviously, losing 2 players, 2 of our starting wingers was not ideal. Starting to feel a little bit sorry for him now, to be honest, with all these injuries. But I think we defended quite well. I generally thought we was going to get smashed, so I think the way we defended quite impressed me. But yeah, I mean, watching City live is just, I don't know how. I can't imagine how the players must feel trying to chase after them. Because me in the stands, I'm suffering just watching them pass the ball. They're so good. It's just ridiculous. You cannot get the ball off them. And every time we did get the ball off them, most of the times we lost the ball. We found it really hard to play out their press in terms of when we had the ball at the back as well. So, it's another loss, but it's not like, I feel like if it was 3-4-0, we'd really be going crazy right now, So,
100%. When we started the show, I obviously mentioned Gianluca Vialli. Unfortunately, it's another sort of shot in the bum, really, in terms of what we've had this week in terms of news. But obviously, a legend of the football club passing away. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, not someone that I watched, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's very sad. I believe he relapsed, didn't he, with cancer, and he's just
Yeah.
unfortunately passed away. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, cancer sucks, man. It's the worst thing in the world. So yeah, rest in peace to him.
Rest in peace, rest in peace. And what a player manager he was, man. I was around in the 90s. I was old enough to see it, to be honest. But yeah, he used to come off the pitch as the manager on the pitch as a substitute or even start games as well. But he was a top player before he came to Chelsea. He was at Juventus as well. And he was just, he was a very good number 9 is what I would say there. But what we're going to do now, Paz, is we're just going to jump into a quick rating, a discussion about the players, give our thoughts, opinions, and then we're going to fly into a little talk of transfers, little updates on Enzo Fernandez that we received from Matt Law, Mudryk, and Thuram as well, which we'll be talking about at some point. Kepa, I'll be honest with you, I don't think he had much to do yesterday, and I thought Thiago Silva and Koulibaly done quite well against Haaland. But what was he doing for that goal? Because equally, I think we could have got a point in that game if he just stuck his arm out and caught the ball, which is what he was doing in the first half. He seemed to be on every time they crossed the ball, and he seemed to just be in the right position to just, block the ball out. But in that moment, and then I've watched the replay again and again, Pies, it just makes it look more and more worse in the fact of the way that he just fell on his knees and didn't even bother stretching his arm out. That did kind of piss me off and kind of confirms to me and you, to be fair, that we are still in need of a number 1 goalie, someone that maybe we need to bring in. But what was your thoughts on Kepa yesterday?
I mean, it's annoying because I think he's been playing well, but the last 2 goals we've conceded are very questionable. Obviously, the one against Nottingham Forest, it went for his legs. As a goalie, that's probably the worst thing that can happen. And then yesterday, I mean, I don't really know what happened. I mean, when I was watching it live, I didn't actually see what the problem was, but then I watched the replay, and I was like, he could have come out and got it. To be honest, he could have dived, even got just like a fingertip to it, parried it. Anything can make the difference. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's almost like someone called for it to him leave it, because I don't know.
Yeah.
When a ball comes across the box, your first instinct as a goalie is to come out and get it. You don't leave it. So it's a weird one. I'd be interested to see his point of view, even though we won't know. But I mean, Graham Potter mentioned that Kepa and Cucurella, they could have both done better for that goal. So I don't know what happened there, really. It was a really weird one, but it was a great ball anyway, to be fair, from Grealish. It was a great ball.
Yeah. I just think he could have done better. I'm going to stick to that as well. I just expected more from him. But let's go on to the defence quickly as well. I want to talk quickly. Let's start with someone that gets a lot of criticism because he is on a decline, and we know it's an area that we need to improve. And equally, I still think Chalobah should be given a chance to play. But Cesar Azpilicueta's performance yesterday, I'll give you quickly my thoughts on it. He wasn't atrocious, but at the same time, he's just so wasteful with the ball. Some of his passing yesterday to Ziyech, going out for throw-ins, and he doesn't offer anything from going forward. I know he's not there to do that, but still, we just don't really get much from him defensively. I mean, Foden didn't offer much in the first half anyway. I thought we actually played quite well, but I don't know, man. With Aspie, just is what it is for me now. Is what it is, and I think as long as he's captain of this football club, he will still play games, and he will continue to play games until we switch that captaincy. That's just the way I see it with him at the moment. And obviously, Reece James being injured as well doesn't help, because I think Reece James would have probably started this game. But what do you think about Azpilicueta's performance?
I mean, he tried, but it's not really good enough, to be honest with you. He clearly lacks the pace. He shouldn't be a star. I can't believe we're not prioritising a right back before anything. I generally cannot believe that. I don't know. I mean, going forward, he was really trying. I noticed that he was really trying to go for the overlaps. Even when Hutchinson came on, he was still relentless trying to help Chelsea, and he'll always try and help Chelsea. But the facts are that he's pretty washed now for me. So. Yeah, it is what it is. It doesn't help when he's got to play back-to-back games. I mean, he's probably gonna have to start on Sunday and against Fulham. Like I don't
He
see
doesn't
who else
though,
could
does
play
he?
there.
He shouldn't have to start when you've got Trevor Chalobah on him. Why do we not try Chalobah in that position? I just don't get
Well,
it.
Chalobah's got more pace, but the same thing's going forward. Chalobah's not a right back. He's going to be just as uncomfortable. So yeah,
I just think defensively he's better though. Just because of his pace, and being able to recover and whatever. I don't know. We'll have to see whether we ever look at that. I just think he looks at Chalobah as a back three player or a centre back, and at the moment, I don't think he's getting in with Koulibaly and Thiago Silva, who we're going to talk about next. Thiago Silva pocketed Haaland. That's what I'm going to say. Thiago Silva was Thiago Silva. He still sets the standards. I'm going to cry the day that we lose Thiago Silva at Chelsea because he's that important for me at the moment. I have nothing else to say really. It's just Thiago Silva, isn't it? What else is there to say? What's your thoughts, Pi?
yeah, he was good. He was good. Haaland had that one chance, which I'm surprised he didn't score when he got into our box and he put it over. But Thiago Silva and Koulibaly were both pretty good, to be fair. I can't lie. Silva did quite well. Was good on the ball. Was good defensively. It was pretty solid as usual.
He always is solid, and I think it's just scary that he's nearly 40 years old, but he still plays as many games as he does, and he's just. And I think the commentator said it yesterday. Like, is this guy ever going to look old? Is he actually ever going to look old, like on the pitch? Because even though he's like nearly 40, he still plays like he's like 28, 29. It's just crazy, man. He's just such a good professional at Chelsea. Someone that has been getting a lot of stick recently, Pies, is Koulibaly, because a lot of people feel that maybe for what we bought him for in terms of money, he's not been good enough. I don't think he's been that bad. I think he has a bit of an error in him on the odd occasion, and I get that he lacks a bit of concentration sometimes. But when you see performances like you did yesterday from him, I thought he was very good. I thought he was good on the ball. I felt that he dealt with Haaland quite well, other than that chance that you said as well. Do you worry about Koulibaly at Chelsea? Do you think we just need to be given time, or are you one that thinks, well, actually, we could have someone in there that's a bit better than him?
Well, I think it's interesting because, like, what I've noticed of him, and I think everyone noticed, he's just really, really rash, and he pushes out so much. He's really aggressive, and there's times yesterday. There was one time in particular where I thought he defended miles better. The City had an attack down the right hand side, and I think Cancelo got past someone, and instead of rushing out, Koulibaly just stood his ground, and then anticipated when Cancelo was about to like dribble past him, and just came out and won the ball. That's something that Thiago Silva would do.
Yeah.
That sort of calmness is what I need from Koulibaly. I'm not going to lie, it's still a bit awkward playing out the back. I feel he's not as comfortable on the ball as I thought he would be. But I think what's more impressive than anything in terms of his passing would actually be his long passing instead of his short passing. But yeah, it was a much better game from him yesterday for sure than what we've been seeing. Much less aggressive, just smarter defending is what we need. Calmer defending as well.
Another one that's been getting a lot of criticism for price tag and his performances so far is Marc Cucurella. And I thought the last couple of games, even though we've not been playing well as an overall team, I think he's actually been okay. I think yesterday I think he had good. Some people saying he was not that good. I don't think he was that bad, in my opinion. I thought he had a very good first half. I thought he dealt with the win quite well, especially, was it Bernardo Silva that was out there in the first half? I think it was, top of my head. He dealt with him quite well. Second half, it was a lot harder, but I just think it was because Man City just upped their game overall, and they did look a lot better in the second half than they did the first. But I do think he was overvalued when we first bought him. I do feel that was the case. However, look at where Ben Chilwell is, and look if we didn't have Marc Cucurella in the team right now. Like, I actually really do like Lewis Hall as well. To be fair, I actually think he's quite ready to compete for the first team, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think Cucurella, you could blame him for the goal equally. At the same time, I think if Kepa just puts his arm out, he completely alleviates that ball rolling across the goal before it goes in. But I don't worry about Cucurella. I just think he again needs a bit of time. And again, you've got to bear in mind he's in a squad of players where we're so unbalanced, where we're suffering from so many injuries, and it's just like, I don't know. I think we're a little bit harsh on him, to be honest. But what's your thoughts, Pies?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because I was seeing obviously Lauren's stream last night, see what those guys give the ratings, and they rated him pretty high. And I mean, for me, I mean, he got dribble past 5 times. He wasn't very good playing out the back, and I think Man City completely targeted that side. I think Sky Sports were saying similar things when I got back in my car and I was checking some of the reactions. So
Mm.
I think defensively, um, it's a weird one because defensively he can be good, but I feel like his style of defending is kind of like it's kind of like unorthodox at times. Like he seems to be a left back that just wants to be again be really aggressive, get to the ball first. When he's like pinned 1v1, it's like like I don't really fully trust him, but I still think I think he's a very good player though. Like I do, I really do. I think he's a very good player. I've seen it at Brighton, by the way. There was a reason why I was so gassed for this because at Brighton he was one of the best, if not the best, fullback in the league. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. So the
Fine.
fact that the fact that he is so technical as well on the ball makes me think like he'll come into it more. I believe he'll be a great signing for us. I still believe in him.
Over 350, nearly 400 of you guys here currently at the moment. So big up to every single one of you guys that are currently tuned in. Make sure you're smashing the likes. I know we've not got enough at the moment. We've got some transfer talk coming your way on the back of this match reaction as well. So stay with us for that. But like I said, please smash the likes. Get them likes up as well. And subscribe to both Chelsea Fan TV and GNA TV as well. We move away from there. I want to talk to you on this one because on social media, there was a lot of sort of mixed feelings towards the performance of one individual, and even in our group as well. When I was talking to Lorenz about it, now I know you're all a huge Mateo Kovacic fan, so it's obviously going to be interesting to see what your thoughts were of yesterday's game. I actually thought he was quite good. I do think that he was slightly wasteful in certain positions with his passes in the final third, but I always say the same thing with Kovacic. I think that's just something that I've become a norm to when it comes to him maybe giving the ball away or not making the right pass all the time. Now, a lot of the Chelsea fans seem to feel that Mateo Kovacic didn't have a great game. They thought he was very wasteful, gave the ball away quite a bit in the first half. What are your thoughts on his performance yesterday?
I thought him and Zakaria were good, to be honest. I think there was a couple of passes where Kola could have done better, but I was saying this to people around me, like when we were struggling to play at that press of Man City, especially in the first half, the one person that just looked he just looked levels above everyone technically was Kovacic. The amount of times we did get out of their press was because of Kovacic. The way he's so calm on the ball, so technical, so good at getting out of a press is really, really underrated. Because if we had another midfielder in there instead of Kovacic, we could have found ourselves losing the ball in a dangerous area, which could have led to a goal. Like honestly, his press resistance and his just technical ability on the ball to get out of tight spaces is massively underrated. But yeah, I think he was solid. I don't think he was amazing, but I think he was good. Zakaria was better though. Zakaria was my man of the match. He was so good.
I said in the preview to Lorenz's chat, I think you was in the chat as well. Actually, I said that I wanted the Kovacic Zakaria midfield, and they all looked at me like, "Nah, you like." And I said, "Well, we saw it against Man City. It wasn't great, but I just think that with them two, I didn't think Zakaria would have played that well. Don't get me wrong. It shocked me when he done it, but like." I wanted it. I wanted to see more of it because there is energy. There is, I think, the interceptions, to being able to recover once once the press is beaten by the opposition to attack us is better when you have someone like Zakaria and Mateo Kovacic both in the middle. And equally, I just thought Zakaria's performance yesterday was quite impressive. Equally, very impressive. What surprised me the most with Dennis Zakaria was the ability to get out of tight spaces. With Man City, they sort of they suffocate you. Every time you get the ball, they just 1, 2, 3 man will just come after you on the ball. And there were so many moments in the game yesterday where Zakaria got like in a position where it was like they were targeting him. It was like they were testing him. And they were getting in his face and they were giving him no time. And he was swiveling away and using his strength and his speed and then playing good forward passes as well. Like he kept, especially in the first half, he kept us going. He was always going forward and he was running past. At one point, he was like a striker. He was like running behind the defense and stuff and trying to make runs. And his overall game just shocked me how good he actually really was. And I'm just hoping that that's because of he's now in a bit of form and he's got a bit of confidence. And if this is the kind of player that we can get a bit of consistency out of, I know obviously we've got him on a loan anyway, but maybe there is a future for him to be in this squad. But what were your thoughts on him yesterday? Do you think based on that performance, I know it's very early, do you think there's a chance that he might be able to maybe stay at Chelsea if he continues like this?
I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm just like you said, so surprised that he was so good at getting out those tight
Yeah.
spaces. I was just like, wow, like, because for me, he's not like the best on the ball, but yesterday he was just like the confidence just flowed through. And I said this when we first signed him. I said, look, for me, it's a completely risk-free loan. If he does terrible, he goes back. Like, so if he does good, we get that player that was at Borussia Mönchengladbach that all of the top sides wanted at some point in time for like 20, 25 million. So for me, he was easily man of the match. He was so good in that midfield, defensively and going forward, as you said, getting out of their press as well. That's why I thought him and Kovacic just did so well in terms of their press resistance and just switches a play as well, man. Just like everything he did well. So yeah, he's obviously high on confidence right now, and it just goes to show that the more starts a player gets, in certain cases they will just improve game by game. So hopefully he doesn't get injured, and hopefully he keeps playing like this because he was brilliant yesterday.
Does it actually now push Jorginho down the pecking order, do you think, with that performance? Do you think like Jorginho could now be just rotation at this point?
Well, I don't think anyone's just rotation at this point with the amount of games and injuries we've got. But for sure, I think Zakaria will probably start in the next Premier League match. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Right, let's move on to a player that had, I thought, a good performance. To be fair, when I find him, where are you? There it is, Carney. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I was shocked by how well he actually played, especially the first half. And for me, again, what surprised me more than anything was his matureness on the pitch against one of the best teams in the world, let alone the league, in the world, to get up and down the pitch. But also when he's not got the ball at his feet, he was picking up really good positions in defensively, like covering the inside pockets of Cucurella just to make sure that they don't try and play that through ball to Kevin De Bruyne, which did happen a couple of times, but. He done his bit, and there was a press. There was a high press in the second half on him, and he gave the ball away 1 or 2 times. But he nearly scored, hit the post as well. I think he's and he could have had an assist actually if Havertz would have woke up when the ball landed to him in the box without realizing. But I was quite impressed with him. If Pulisic and Sterling are out and not available, and I know we've got Conor Gallagher who's there as well, but I'd put this boy in front of Conor Gallagher all day from what I've seen. I think he offers us something that we don't have, and I think he can create. I think he looks like he can. He's good in front of goal, physically strong as well, and off the ball, I thought he was very good. So bright things from Carney himself. I mean, Pies, was you very impressed watching him at the Bridge yesterday?
I mean, I think this guy's a baller. I've said it even before he came on yesterday. I'm not surprised at all. Like. He reminds me of like the way he runs, the way he carries the ball, the way he uses his body. He reminds me of what Loftus-Cheek used to be like a few years ago. He's so good with carrying the ball. He's so strong. He's so fast. He's so attacking. Like he really is a great player. He will be a great player as well in the future years. I believe this was a really good signing. Even for the price we signed him for, I believe it will be fully worth it. He's got all the attributes to be a top player, in my opinion. There's not one thing that I don't think he could develop either. Like I don't want to overhype him too much, but I believe he's a top player and will be. He's shown that already. Like just as well how quickly he got into the game against Man City, considering that he hardly even like plays that much for us, and he's so young as well. Like he was saying, he felt a bit of pressure, but he just had to get into the game. Every time I watch his interviews, I'm just really impressed with him. He's really mature, so yeah, I'd like to see him get more starts as well, and I believe he will now. He deserves it. He's got a lot of attributes that could make a top player.
I hate when people do this. You start talking about a player playing good, and they start moaning about us exaggerating. There's always one, isn't there? There's always one. He also got better trim than Jem. That's true. Yeah, he has. Yeah. I'll give you that. Carney should start in the FA Cup game. Well, maybe you should start in the Premier League game, especially if Pulisic and Sterling are out. We don't know how long Sterling and Pulisic are out, do we, Pies, yet? I don't think
No,
Potter's
yeah.
confirmed, is he yet? So we have to wait and see what happens there. Big up to Lewis in the chat as well. Over 350 combined here at the moment. Big up to every single one of you guys that are here. Hit them likes, smash the likes, subscribe both to Chelsea Fan TV and GNA TV as well. We've got some transfer talks to do after this, so we're nearly at the end of the ratings as well. I'm going to be honest and very quick. I just don't think he's good enough for the Premier League. I know you guys, like, people want to give him a chance and he should be given more time in the team and whatever, but for what he's actually good at doing, which is creating, which is what he should be doing, I don't know. I don't think he's the right profile player for us in how we play, in what we want to do in terms of the system. I just don't see Hakim Ziyech succeeding at Chelsea, and maybe like most of our forwards, to be honest. But I don't know. I wasn't overly impressed with him. I don't think he was awful. I just didn't think he was great. He didn't really go, oh my God, this is why we got to play him, if that makes sense. But again, equally, we're limited on opportunities. I mean, Hutchinson come on as well. I thought he looked very reserved in his game as well, which I wanted to see more of him, but we didn't get to see that. But I don't know. I'm just not sold on Pies. I mean, what's your thoughts on Ziyech yesterday?
Again, kind of reiterated the fact that everything I've said in the past, like, he can have a good moment, but overall, again, I do agree with you. I'm not sure whether he's suited to the Premier League. I don't think he's quick enough, man. I don't even like mind that he's too one-footed, because I mean, even Man City allowed him to cross a lot on his left foot yesterday. But yeah, just in terms of like dribbling, beating a man, just pace, like it's not quite there. He's still a threat if he gets near the box for sure, but I don't know. I need to see more. I need to see more. Yeah, I don't know whether he's a wide player or whether like that. I mean, that comment says, yeah, maybe number 10, try him there, closer to the box where he can just pick a pass and doesn't have to take someone on. Because where Havertz played yesterday, in the first side when he was playing as a number 10, that guy annoyed me so much, man. Like, there were so many times where he could have shot and he just played out wide. And I'm just like, if that's Ziyech there, I believe he's going to shoot. So,
Also, I think Ziyech actually played Havertz through behind the defence, didn't he? At one point, I think Havertz got
yeah, he
behind.
did. And then Havertz cut back, and I think we had a shot from it or something. But
Carney tried
yeah,
to have a shot, saying,
yeah.
I remember. Yeah. But I'm just not sold. We're so used to seeing in the past Hazards, Williams, Pedros, just like quality, like forwards in these systems, and I just don't think that these are it. They're that. I just really don't. And I think in terms of Hakim Ziyech, I think he doesn't want to be here. I think he will be sold. Whether it's January, I don't think so. It'll be probably more summer now, but I think he will leave, and I think equally we will have to buy better, and we will find better, in my opinion. So it is what it is, and equally we can go on to Kai Havertz as well. Look, I'll be honest with you. I thought Kai Havertz in the first half, it was mixed, because there was moments where he got the ball and I felt like he could have played the ball forward quicker. But then on the flip side of it, he created for Christian Pulisic, who nearly scored a goal. He created for Carney, who then hit the post. And he played Aubameyang through, behind Nathan Ake, but it's too slow to like literally run onto goal and then take his shot, because Aubameyang's just shit anyway, in my opinion. But second half, he disappeared. It's weird with Kai Havertz, because he could go in the summer, and he'll probably be one of the only players that we would get value for selling him. But I keep saying it. You put him in the Bayern Munich system with better players playing in the number 10 role, which I think that he is. I think he equally will score goals, and you'll see a better Kai Havertz. So I just think he's more of a system fitted player, which hasn't got the teething issues that a Chelsea football club has at the moment across everywhere, because we ain't got enough creativity players around this. So I don't know. It was just, it wasn't great yesterday, but I would say equally that the first half, he wasn't that bad. I don't think some people were saying he was bad. I don't think he was bad. I just don't think he was great in the second half. He just disappeared. So I don't know. Pies, I know you're not a massive fan of him, and you kind of said already, but yeah, what are your thoughts?
I just don't think he does enough, man. Like as you said, like there's a couple of chances where he played the ball through, fair enough, but I want that every game. I want that 90 minutes for his potential. Like honestly, I do. He can do so much more, man. Like the thing I noticed as well in the second half, like when Amari Hutchinson, Lewis Hall, and that came on, and he was leading the line as the 9. He looked no like more like you know what I mean. Like he looked no like he didn't look like the experienced player is what I'm trying to say in that team at that
Yeah.
point. He just looked no different, and I'm just like, why? Like you should be like, the guy trying to grab the game by the scruff of our neck, try and create something, try and score, take a shot, inspire the fans because you're leading the line. You're worth a lot of money. You've been here 3 seasons. You're not an inexperienced player. Yeah, you're still young, but you know what I mean. Like you've delivered against City before. This is one of your favorite opponents. Like, come on, do more. And I believe a lot of the time as well, from what I was seeing, he's pressing as well, man. Like, just not sharp enough. Like, I don't know what it was. He was just kind of like strolling around at times. So, yeah, I mean, more of a bad game than a good game from him, from me. But I can't obviously ignore the chances he did created.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just doesn't like. I don't know. He just doesn't do enough. He just
The thing is,
annoys
we
me.
moan about. I just think with Kai Havertz, we moan like for things for him to do, which we know that he can't do sometimes. If that makes sense, like it's like we want him to be Eden Hazard, but he ain't an Eden Hazard.
No, we don't. We just want him to be a bit better at, at football, to be honest with you. We just want him to do more and impact the
Yeah,
game
but we
more.
moan about him creating. He created yesterday 3 chances in the first half.
Well, well
Like,
done. For the first time in like five,
yeah, I
7
know,
games.
but what I'm saying is we will still moan about something else. It's like, but he needs to do that. He needs to do this, and I get it because we spent so much money on him, and I understand it. Don't get me wrong, but the amount of injuries and how much we're suffering at the moment with this squad as it is, especially yesterday's game as well. For me, it was just about the performance, and I
And
don't
he
know.
still looks no different to the young guys that came on.
I don't
So,
know.
like, what am I supposed to say? Like, he was amazing. He was good. Like, and he wasn't good. He was
It wasn't
average.
amazing. No, of course he wasn't amazing. Like I said to you, I thought I even said myself, I thought he disappeared in the second half. I do. I think he disappeared in the second half. I thought he had a better first, in my opinion, than he did the second. But
He
again,
does that a lot, Jim. He does that a lot.
he does. But second half of the seasons is usually Kai Havertz's time, isn't it? Usually he turns up and he actually plays quite well consistently for a little bit, doesn't
Well,
he?
he bloody well needs to.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, look, like I said, whether he stays or goes in the summer, I'm pretty sure we'll still get a good 50, 60 million from him anyway. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. What do you want to say about this guy? Because my thoughts on him, and I know your thoughts on him, but I genuinely don't think he's good whatsoever. I don't get I was on the fence when he first come to Chelsea. I know people say, but he played well at Barcelona and whatever, but he just doesn't do anything for me. Like he is the answer to not doing nothing. Like yesterday, he can't play balls behind because he hasn't got the pace anymore. He can't hold the ball up because he's too weak. He's quite lazy because he's a forward anyway, and he doesn't find himself in good positions. Like he gets himself in the box and he doesn't really bust the gut to try and beat the player that's in, like a bit like Lukaku, doesn't bust the gut to like lose his defender in the box to create space for himself and score. Like he's just easy to mark. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't think he's good, players. I genuinely don't. And I would just wish Brower was fit because I would put Brower in front of him all day of the week. I do not rate Aubameyang one bit. And he just proved it against me. Yes, he got taken off by Graham Potter after being brought on. Got taken off. So
Yeah, I mean, he did look quite lazy yesterday. He's definitely not. He's not as fast as he once was. That's evidently clear. He's horrendous at pressing. And I think Graham Potter taking him off. I mean, he said he looked fatigued, but that's just a nice way for me of saying, you were lazy, you were hooked off, kind of thing. So, yeah, look, I still think Aubameyang's a good finisher. I still believe he's one of the best finishers in our squad, but I do believe he needs to do more. Ironically, there was a chance where he ran in behind the defense, and Havertz, instead of spotting him, didn't even look up and played the ball back.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, look, whether he would have done anything with that, probably not. But still, it's not the point.
It's not good enough.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with Aubameyang. For me, it's a completely pointless signing. The fact that we signed him for Tuchel, literally. And by the way, like, let's not act like there was many fans that were on board with this if Tuchel didn't want him. Because when Tuchel was in charge, we was like, you know, okay, we'll get him if it's for Tuchel. Then they sacked Tuchel. So like Aubameyang's probably thinking like, what the hell's the point in this thing? Because you can't tell me he left Barca for Chelsea. Like he didn't. He left for Tuchel. Like that's clear.
Yeah,
Like he was
yeah.
happy at Barca, by the way. So I just don't understand it. It was it's just stupid to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing more to say. We've took an L. We've got Man City again. We've got Palace next week. I think Fulham in between as well. And we need to. We just need to start winning some games and put some points aboard. We're 10 points from fourth. You know, if we don't make fourth, Pies, then I'd rather us just not make Europa or Conference and just finish 8th or 9th, 10th. That sounds bad. I'd rather not play in that tournament next season. You know, but I don't know. I mean, Potter's got a hard job. It is what it is. I think, you know, Bowley and Egbali are going to back him going into next season. He's going to have to do with for now and try and get results and get some sort of stability. The word is what he used yesterday in his press conference that he wants to see stability. Well, they're working on stability. We've got none of that at the moment. Can't even blooming win one game at this point. So it's not good times for us. But at the same time, I think we've got to ride the wave and. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But in terms of Potter himself, I mean, there's not much he could have done yesterday, right? With the injuries and decisions. I actually thought some of the substitutions he made was the right decision, in my opinion. But yeah, what is it to say on Graham Potter? Are you still on the fence with him? Do you still feel that, you know, he's maybe not? Do you feel he might not be the man? Do you think we just needs time? What are your thoughts on Graham Potter?
I said it yesterday. I mean, it's horrible where we are in the table, but you can't count out the injuries at this point. Like it's just ridiculous. Like another 2 of our starting wingers have gone. Like, yeah, I mean, he needs more time for sure. He'll get time as well. I don't think there's any point going on some long debate over whether we need to sack him because it's not going to happen anyway for, you know, probably for the rest of this season. So yeah, I think he needs time. He needs some of his signings coming in. And then we'll see. I still don't know whether we'll hit a ceiling with him. I feel like we will, even if, you know, everything goes well. I'm not sure whether he's the guy to take on, you know, the Europe's elite, especially in the cup competitions. Like I'm not sure about that. But Premier League, I mean, I like, you know, some of the stuff he's done in terms of like playing the 4 at the back. I mean, you know, he's seemed to figure out that Zakaria obviously is obviously a defensive midfielder as well as going forward. So, because I think that was a major tactical problem in the Nottingham Forest game, how we left Jorginho so isolated with Mount and Zakaria going so much forward. And yeah, like the use of the young players as well. I want to see that more because I know Lewis Hall missed that chance, but I tell you what, Jem, he was honestly, he was one of our best players, and he hardly played any time. He played like 15 minutes. Like it's a joke. He was our best player against Man City in the Carabao Cup before the World Cup, and against Newcastle, he was really good as well. So
I expect him to start next game though against Man City in the Cup. I think he will play. I think you'll see.
But he needs to start against Fulham as well. He needs to start against Fulham. If Cucurella is not, you know, even in midfield, he needs to come on at least. You know, so if he doesn't start, he needs to come on. So that's my point of view on it. You can't sort of leave him on the bench. I
think Lewis Hall's ready for the first team. From what I've seen, I think he should.
We're playing Man City, bro. Man City, and he doesn't look out of place. Like Hutchinson looked out of place. Hutchinson's not ready yet. Maybe for you know the Premier League, he looked completely nervous. He looked out of place. You know, he was passing the ball back and in terms of instead of taking players on. So his confidence and not his ability, because I think his ability is there, but in terms of the Premier League and the big games, I don't think he's quite ready yet. But Lewis Hall, just absolutely no fear, bro. No fear at all of the occasion, of the opponent. He just went for it. And that's a player that you can see is completely ready for Chelsea first team.
100%. 100%. Guys, we are going to get into some transfer talks for the next sort of half hour or so. Just catching up on some bits that we've seen today. Actually, so yeah, we'll be getting into that, but it's still it's over 420 of yous here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are here and ladies that are here at the moment. I know we ain't got enough likes though, so please smash that like now. Get them likes up. It supports the channel. It allows new viewers to see us on YouTube. They come in and watch. They subscribe, And yeah, please, because it does really help us, aim to grow. And with GNA TV, I'm trying to get it to 10K. We're on the road to this. So let's get that on YouTube up to 10K subscribers, nearly there. And with Chelsea Fan TV, the aim is 200K subscribers on YouTube. So please help us get to that as well. Andre confirmed. What are they talking about here, Piers? What do they mean? He was confirmed anyway, wasn't he? What's going on here? Am I missing something? Let's have a quick look. Andre confirmed.
I think his Brazilian club just confirmed his departure. That was all.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. All right. Well, what I want to do is quickly start on this random news that's just came out today in regards to Thuram, Marcus Thuram from Borussia Mönchengladbach. So Santi J _FM has reported that apparently Chelsea are interested in him, or several clubs are interested in him, and Chelsea are one of them that are very keen, maybe on the back of all the injuries that we've had from the forward line. Now, some Chelsea fans are saying, please no. Others are saying, yeah, why not? It's going to be around 10 to 15 million pounds is what I've read on this one as well. 25 years old. Pies, what are your thoughts on Marcus Thuram to Chelsea, if it is true? And do you think it's someone that we would benefit from, or do you think it's more just again of a panic buy just because of the injuries that we got?
Well, I don't think it would be a panic buy because I believe we had a link last summer as well, which I tweeted, which was from a good source. Yeah, I think he's a good player, to be honest. I do. I don't see why Chelsea fans are so crazy against it. I mean, he's got a lot of attributes that will succeed in the Premier League. So, he can play wing or striker. He's very fast, very physical. He's a really good finisher as well, from what I've seen. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when he came on for France in the World Cup, he was really good as well. So, I think it would be a good buy for like 10 million. But I'd want other options first, like. For me, this could be like a backup to like Mudryk. So say we didn't get Mudryk, we might go for Thuram, who also like counts as a striker as well as a winger. So I think he's a good player though. I rate him more than most, for sure.
Well, Simon Phillips has mentioned it as well. Obviously, commenting on him, Ekrem Connor's just come out saying Chelsea are planning to check the situation. Again, that means nothing to me. What did you just say? Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. I've not watched enough of him. Obviously, I saw him for France, wasn't he? He was playing for France, wasn't he? Off the left, if I remember right. Yeah, so he looks decent. Looks okay. And if he's only 15 mil, which don't make sense to me, why he would only be 15.
But he's got 6 months left on his deal, so he's cheap.
Right. There you go. All right. Well, maybe that in that instance, then it's a good idea for us to maybe look to try and just. And again, if he comes for that value, even if he doesn't work, if he's 15 mil, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're going to be heavily burnt from it, but why not at this moment in time? I think we need something, and if he's going to come in January as well and try and help us win some games and give us something different, etc., then I don't know. I think it's something that we should definitely be keeping an eye out, and we'll keep you updated on that if there's anything else that comes out from it as well. We were talking about Mudryk just now. Apparently Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that the interest for Mudryk, the situation remains the same. Arsenal bid wasn't enough to convince the Shakhtar player. Well, Chelsea are now interested. He will now have to wait and see the next steps. His priority is still to join Arsenal. I mean, is this one for you that will probably end up going to Arsenal, or do you think it'll just fall down to who will lay the more money to Shakhtar on this?
It's really interesting because David Ornstein last night was on, I believe he goes on NBC. He was at the game and he goes on the American site. And he actually said, although he obviously has made it very clear to like he wants to join Arsenal, he actually said his priority is the Premier League, which made me think, I've said all along, like I know Chelsea fans have got a massive issue with him. He literally has been bought more than twerking for Arsenal. Like he's been on his hands and knees begging for Arsenal. But who else has been in for him? It's only been Arsenal. When you're at a club like Shakhtar and you get interest from a big club like Arsenal, you're gonna be on their knees. Like look at Enzo, he's literally on his knees for Chelsea. So if that's the only club in for him at the moment. So I feel don't go too harsh on Mudryk. you know, if he turns us down, then fair enough. F him. But yeah, at that point, we can have a debate. But right now, I believe I mean, there's definitely something in there. But Chelsea, they do have a budget for this summer. I mean, this January, David Ornstein was saying we won't be held to ransom. Matt Laura said, as you said there, we won't be drawn into a bidding war. So, I mean, we'll see. Shakhtar clearly want a bidding war as well. So, I actually feel like this guy might just stay at Shakhtar because Shakhtar clearly want. I think it's what is he like 85 million. So
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of money.
Crazy,
Isn't
it's
it?
crazy
Yeah.
price. But he's a very, very talented player for sure.
How long's he got left on his contract? Is that why he's that much? Is it, or what? Why is he
Yeah,
so much?
I think he's got a few years left. Yeah, he's only 22 as well.
But it also goes against the whole thing of like the Enzo Fernandez thing, because if we did go for him at say 60, 70 mil, if we like say down and accepted it, it just tells me that they're prioritising the forward more than midfield, because that money could have been used to get Enzo Fernandez, right? We're talking about release clause, and we're going to talk about Enzo Fernandez next. But like, it just shows to me again, like what's more important at this moment in time. And I think that the midfield needs to be sorted. I mean, Zakaria and his performance yesterday is kind of like made you think, oh, can we get away with it till the summer? But I still think we need more there. But now we've just seen what's happened with our forwards, with Sterling, with Pulisic. How long are they going to be out? Brower's injured. Mount was injured apparently yesterday as well. I don't know. Maybe bringing a forward is now the priority. Maybe that is the case. We'll see. I don't think we get this boy, to be honest. I think if he goes anywhere, he'll go to Arsenal. I know his agent was at Chelsea yesterday and whatever else, and William was playing hopefully playing the cards of Chelsea, even though he played for Arsenal as well, about trying to push him to go to Chelsea as well. But I don't know. I know he's a good player. I know he's got a lot of pace. I know he offers quite a lot, and he's rated quite highly. But that's a lot of money for a player. I don't know. Not say a player that we don't need, but more like a player that I just feel like with that money, could we have not just gone for Rafael Leao? Do you know what I mean? Because like, if it's going to cost us 80 mil, how much is Rafael Leao at the moment? A little bit more, 90, 100, something like that. So, we'll see. We will see. Enzo Fernandez update. That's what we're going to next. 450 people here as well. Welcome all for tuning in. We had this comment from Fabrizio Romano today saying that he won't be called up for tonight's game versus Portimonense. It's confirmed. Enzo won't even make the bench after the last complicated days. Benfica's message is clear to Chelsea: 120 million or no way to sell Enzo in January. Before we go to the Matt Law comments, players, on this one, does this again leave any signal that the player that Benfica potentially are talking to Chelsea potentially? Maybe there's something still going on there, or do you think it's more of a punishment thing just because of the way that he's acted in the last couple of days?
Yeah, I think it's more of a punishment / sort of I believe Fabrizio said that one of the reasons they've done this is to protect Enzo against the Benfica supporters, because they believe that the Benfica supporters would be quite angry if he started or was on the bench, because of what he's been doing in the last days. So no, I don't believe. I mean, we're not in talks anymore. Fabrizio and Ornstein have confirmed that. So, yeah, unless we go back in, which I wouldn't rule out, but at the end of the day, some of the stuff, the way we negotiated this deal is just like, is there really a point going back in? I mean, I don't believe the whole release clause or nothing. I believe if we got close to that release clause, but it was in installments, they'd accept. But clearly, we haven't got close to that. I mean, 75 mil is nowhere near 105 mil. So.
Well, especially if he wants to leave as well, right? Does it not kind of force the hand a bit more? He's saying that he doesn't want to even kick ball for him anymore. Pretty much.
There's players that, I mean, look at Wilfried Zaha. How many years has he said he wants to leave? Transfer request. Palace still demanded the same money. So,
I don't think it's over, though. I'll be honest with you. I don't think this is over. I think we're going to go in again at some point. I think we're going to do something. And whether that something's enough is another story. But the way I see it is, I don't even think it's the release clause. I think we could probably pay a little bit more than that, even though some people may not like to hear that. But I think it's about how we offer the installments to them. And I think that one big lump payment that we've been told that they want to be paid up front. I could see Chelsea trying to still work that avenue, trying to put something together where they get that one big payment, whether it is 50, 60 million up front, just say, for example, and the rest split out over a certain amount of time. I think that's probably still an option, because if we're not going to play because with the release clause, I don't see us paying it because we don't want to pay it all up front. So I don't think we're going to pay the release clause. The only other way we've got of getting the player is by paying over the odds for him and just giving him a big bulk of money up front and then just paying it split out. That's the only way, Piers, that I can see us getting Enzo Fernandez, unless he puts a transfer request in. And I don't think he's going to do that. So,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But we've got that comment from, I think it was Matt Law, which you put out earlier as well, saying about Graham Potter is believed to have backed the bid for Enzo Fernandez, and Chelsea aren't ruling out making another bid this month. When you say backed, or Matt Law says backed, does that mean that he's backing the idea of actually paying the release clause, or just backing the idea of what? I don't get that. Do you know what I mean?
Just back to making the bid, I guess. Yeah.
So, it does. So he's backed the idea of us putting a package together for 85 million, which was never enough for Benfica. That doesn't make sense, does it?
Basically, he's just backed trying to sign him, is what I'd say, for simple terms.
Why have we gone and if it's true from what we read yesterday, why have we gone and done that? Why do you think, why would Vivell, and I'm assuming it's Vivell that's in control of this deal, I'm assuming because that's what we're being told. Why would it be that we put a contract together for Enzo Fernandez that totals to about 80 to 90, I think it was 80 to 85 mil, wasn't it? Rather than totals out to close to the release calls or more than release. Why would they try and lowball the Benfica completely? Because some people saying, well, we'll let them just negotiate. But you heard the Benfica coach say they told us they were going to do one thing and they've done the opposite.
Yeah.
Is that a lack of experience because for me, can you see someone as experienced as Vivell doing that? Or do you think this is more that Bowley's in control and he's still learning?
I mean, I still think Bowley's in control somewhat. But I think it has a lot to do with, I feel like we tried to lowball them because Enzo was pushing so much, and because they were getting so frustrated about Enzo Fernandez and how he was, missing training and all this. I feel like they might have just thought, well, if we put this together, they might just accept, because they're so annoyed that, they might just, just accept, get it done, get Chelsea off our backs. We don't have this problem anymore. So, yeah, it is interesting. I don't know whether we'll go back or not. I feel like we'll sign a midfielder. I mean, we're obviously not ruling out going back, but yeah, maybe Chelsea are just giving it some time to sort of calm down, and then we'll just go back in. But yeah, I mean, the longer this goes on, I mean, you have to feel like Enzo Fernandez will start getting into the mode of league action again. And let's not forget, Enzo, he would have had communication from Chelsea's side to push for the deal as well. Chelsea would have said, we're coming for you, don't worry, that sort of thing, which obviously then leads to him doing his actions. And now the fact that we haven't got him and he's, being punished or maybe rescued from obviously Benfica fans verbally abusing him, then for me, if I'm Enzo Fernandez, I'm feeling well, I've done all this and Chelsea have still not signed me. I've done all this pushing, I've done all this, but yet Chelsea haven't got it over the line. I don't know, if I'm an Enzo, I'd be pretty annoyed, to be honest.
But that's what probably goes back to the fact of what the Benfica coach was saying about that it's driving the player crazy.
Yeah,
because obviously had conversations with him, don't worry, we're going to come and get you. And he's probably done these things which he's getting punished for because he's thinking, right, I'm going Chelsea, they're going to do something now. Yeah, I'm going to wait, la 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 la. And then we go and do the complete opposite and try and complete lowball Benfica, and Benfica are oh, we're not stupid. What he's doing, it just ruined the relationship, which is just not a good idea whatsoever. But equally, if he doesn't go in January, Piers, the release clause still sticks in the summer. Nothing changes. The only thing that may change is that you'll be able to negotiate more with Benfica in terms of how you pay the whatever you're going to pay him. Other than that, I think in the summer window you might get more interest, but it'll be the same thing. So you know, you don't get him in January and you leave it till summer and you go again in the summer. It just means you've got a lot more competition. And then on top of that, you go back for a player that you said you're going to get in January and you tell him you're going to go for him, and then you go in the summer and someone else comes in. He's going to probably do what Jules Koundé done to us. Do you remember Jules Koundé and what he did when he went to Barcelona because we took too long?
And
That's
Rafinha as well, you know, he
Rafinha.
never even considered us. So, like, I feel like what you said there is all about the competition in the summer. The fact that we had a clear race at Enzo, like, and we still haven't done it, it infuriates me because he'd had so much to our midfield. His passing range is just,
Unbelievable.
it's
Me
suffer.
and you,
It's suffer.
me and you have stressed how important he is to this team and what he offers. And yes, it's a lot of money. And I mean, what would be the argument to the people that still don't? And I'll probably say that most of the Chelsea fan base have equally all agreed on this one and said, like, yeah, get it done. Even though it's a lot of money, yeah, he's a baller. We need him. But I keep comparing him to Frankie de Jong in terms of profile. I think like the ability and the vision and all of that is kind of the same. And when people go, well, if we don't get him, we'll get Declan Rice, or we'll get Cancelo, or we get Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Like, these are not the same. Like, you still need them along with him. Does that make sense? Because they're not the same profiles completely. Like, people don't realize there's not many players like this in the world of football that play the way that Enzo Fernandez plays the game. And the vision, the creativity, you know, the ability to be versatile. Like, it makes sense because we need that. You know, 120 million to Chelsea is probably right because we need it. Like, we need to sort that area out. But for others, and this is the thing, like, what other clubs in the world of football could afford to play for Enzo Fernandez in the summer for this release clause? Real Madrid don't need him. Barcelona ain't going to pay for him. But there's with their thing. So who is it? PSG?
Well, you never know. I wouldn't rule out any team in the summer, to be honest. People get more money, revenue comes in. So, but you know that comment there where he said we'll end up getting Caicedo. I mean, that's not a bad thing, by the way. I don't know about you, but I love Moises Caicedo. I'm just more concerned about the price. And the same thing with Enzo. Caicedo, 8 and a 6. He's very, very good at both. So if we end up getting him, I'll be fair play. That's a great signing for me. But yeah, anyone else, I'm just like McAllister and all that. He's a good player, but I don't rate him the same as Caicedo. Alvarez can do one. You've got Kone's good, but he wouldn't bring the level of excitement that a Caicedo or an Enzo would. You're not getting Rice until the summer, and he's a DM anyway. Like, you know, who else do you really get if it's not Caicedo or Enzo? For me, it's not the same. For me, anyway, I rated Caicedo very highly, and obviously he's worked under Potter as well, which would just add something.
But they're going to want about 70, 80 million from him, aren't they? Let's be serious.
Yeah, I mean, he's worth that though in this market. I truly believe that. I think he's a great player.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will agree with you in the chat as well. Yeah, Caicedo is just as good. Plus, he's proven in the Premier League. I know Jim doesn't believe that is factor, but it is. Well, because he's played in the Premier League. Yeah, well, mate. Yeah, I've not even spoke about Caicedo. I've never even given my thoughts on him. I think he is a good player. I think he's a top player as well. If you still ask me who I prefer, I'd still choose Enzo Fernandez, in my opinion. But I still think he offers a lot, and he plays in a Brighton team that's very similar to what we're trying to do at Chelsea in terms of play under the manager and whatever. So, you know, we just need something, don't we? You know. Yeah, just reading the comments on Gavordia from Fabrizio Romano. I think that one's gone, isn't it? I don't, especially now we've signed a defender. There's no way in hell we would be looking at Josko in the summer, right? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that one's gone, especially with Levi Colwill coming back as well and playing as well as he is.
Yeah, 100%. Just reading the chat. There's so many people here at the moment, 450 people. Enzo's the real deal as well, is what we've got here. Yeah, I mean, I was reading, funny enough, I was just going into the next thing. I was reading a quick article from the Telegraph on Graham Potter and his thoughts and whatever. And basically, they were talking about the Enzo deal. And it just said Chelsea's approach to the transfer market has appeared somewhat scattergun, but Potter is believed to have backed the bid for Benfica's Enzo Fernandez, despite the complaints of the Portuguese club of the nature of the negotiations. Chelsea have not yet ruled out making a new offer before this transfer window shuts. And that's just common sense, because that basically just tells me that people don't actually know what we're going to do, because we could go back. It's not a closed door. But other than that, it says, other than looking for new signings, Potter is prepared to put more faith in Chelsea's young players following the encouraging performance of the 18-year-olds left-back Hall and 19-year-old Carney Chukwuemeka.
I mean, great knowledge from Matt Law there, saying Hall's a left back, he's a centre mid, but whatever.
But but he plays as a left back for Chelsea, doesn't he? He doesn't play
left back Hall, like he's not a left back at all. Christ, it's funny.
Where else does he get in his team though, Pies? As a left wing back, right?
I'm not saying that he isn't good there, but he's not a left wing back or a left back. He's a midfielder. Like it's like you know, anyone playing who's a centre mid. Like it's like Gallagher playing well at left back. I don't mean he's a left back. He's a centre mid.
Yeah, but I would look at Lewis and think he's a natural left back. And what I've seen of him, I ain't gonna lie, he actually does quite well there, did he? To be fair,
sure, he's very good there.
Like you wouldn't actually notice that he's not a left back. You wouldn't be like you know when you play Ruben, when we play Ruben as a wing back, and it's like
I know what you mean. He looks comfortable there, doesn't he?
It's like it's weird. Like you watch it, it's like he ain't. You can tell he just doesn't get it. With him, he's just down, and he just plays like he can play as a left back. Like, look, I have no issue with Potter playing the youngsters if that's the idea moving forward. You know, especially with all the injuries that we do have at the moment.
So, what other choice have we got right now? Anyway, like
we haven't, and I'd rather play these boys and play Aubameyang and ZX and people that don't want to be it anyway. Do you know what I mean? You might as well just give them a chance and see where they're at. What's your thoughts on Omari Hutchinson quickly yesterday? Because he seemed to just have a bit of a quiet game, didn't I? I thought he'd be a lot more like energetic.
I said I don't think he's totally ready. He looked very nervous on the ball for me. I don't think he's totally ready for Premier League yet. I think that was evident between him, Hall, and Chukwuemeka and the others. Yeah, don't think he's ready yet.
Yeah, big up to Tony from Chelsea SW6. He said he named his boy after him as well. It's definitely a tragedy on that one. Big up to Fator as well, who says, finally, about time we have a medical revamp. I've been saying this for over a week now. Our players are made of broken glass. 10 of 25 man are out. Almost all of them are regular starters. Is that something that's just come out, Pies? Are we looking at a complete medical revamp at Chelsea? Let's have a look.
No, not really. I know that they are, but it's not been reported by anyone. But yeah, we definitely are looking at a medical revamp. I think Nizar said that like a private physiotherapy firm has been like stepping up, but Chelsea's players are like getting really worried now. And we've had like more, I think it's like 16 more injuries over the course of a certain period than any club in Europe. I mean, what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
We've definitely not been blessed with that. Fator, thanks for the donation, bro. As always, we appreciate that. Nizar Kinsella said it, he's saying. Okay, fair enough. What's your thoughts on N'Golo Kante and the news on him close to signing a new contract at Chelsea?
Don't mind, because I think it's going to be on reduced wages. To be honest, I mean, don't know how much he'll play, but I mean, I love Kante. I said this as well, even when there was, rumors of him leaving. I said, I do not care. Like, what happens if I can't stomach him seeing another Premier League shirt. That would just be like disgusting, honestly. Like, Kante's a Chelsea legend. I would absolutely hate to see him in another Premier League shirt. I would despise it. Couldn't tell you how much I'd hate it and feel sad. Like, I love Kante, so yeah, I believe it's going to be on reduced terms. So I'm fine, because he's the one who supposedly has put this forward because he wants to stay here. So fair enough, man. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I love N'Golo Kante. I think he's going to be very hard. I do think that he had to go on reduced wages, and this operation that he's had, I hope he comes back and he can actually play more than 3 games in a row. You know, we need him, and when he is in the team at Chelsea, I still think we are equally better. We look better. It gives us something. And that's what you get from world-class players like we get from Silva at the back. Him and Thiago Silva are our only world-class players in the team anyway, in my opinion. But yeah, this is the comments in regards to the revamping of the medical department. It says Chelsea are in the process of revamping all areas of the club, including the medical department, but it might take time to see the results. It must be said some of the injuries are of their own making. This is it ain't the medical team's fault. So what Nizar Kinsella is saying there. He goes on to say that Chelsea players were called into training today to resolve some of their tactical issues. Graham Potter was generally happy with his team, but admitted to mistakes beyond just Kepa for the goal. Okay, well, that's just normal, isn't it? We've got a lot of mistakes. So we've seen a lot of mistakes for many games and many seasons at the moment with Chelsea. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me in all of an instance as well. Is there anything else really? Mason Mount. What's going on with Mason Mount, guys? Like, it seems like he's still not agreed a contract. Some people saying that, he's asking for too much. He 300k a week. He could be looking at. I think he's probably going to try and match Reece James's wage, which is 250k a week. Like, obviously, there's parts of the fan base that can't stand him. Don't think he's good enough. Shouldn't be even getting close to that. Others think he's God's best thing in the world, better than Lampard and Hazard and other people. You know what I mean? So, like, what's your thoughts on the Mason Mount scenario contract?
My thoughts are that it's a worthless discussion. He will sign a new deal. That's absolutely. I've never been sure of it. Mount will no way leave Chelsea, just like Reece James. So yeah, he'll sign a new deal at some point. He was injured last night, but yeah, he will sign a new deal. That's just that. Really, there's no need to talk about it more, in my opinion.
Do you understand the frustration of Chelsea fans about the wage, though, for him? Do you think?
Oh yeah, no, I'd love to see what he's going to be on. And by the way, if that ever does come out, be prepared for the expectations of him to go even higher than they already are. So, he needs to be, if he's our second or third highest joint player, whatever, in terms of earnings, then he needs to play like it. It's why Sterling's got so much criticism this season, because of his high wage more than anything. So yeah.
100%, mate. 100%. I mean, there's going to be so much more going on through this January window. I mean, plus, just quickly summing up the January window, it's only just started at the moment, and we've not really heard much other than Enzo Fernandez and Mudryk. But what are you expecting from Chelsea this January window? Do you think there's a chance that we will sign at least 2 or 3 players? Do you think it will be less? What's your thoughts? Do you think Chelsea will get some business done?
I'm sticking to 3 players plus Badiashile, so 4. I do think we'll end up getting a right back, because I believe that Potter will say, look, Aspi can't, we literally, unless he uses Chalobah there for a game and he's all right with him, which I don't know if he will. And even if he does, I feel like it might be a bit of a, I do believe we're going to get a backup right back in, even though it's not somehow a priority right now, according to reports. I believe a winger will come in, or a forward of some sort, whether that's, a Thuram who plays striker left wing, or whether it's a Mudryk, or someone else. The only I'm going to say we're going to get a midfielder, but I believe that's one area which we could wait for in the summer and save our money and just go really big. So yeah, if there's one area where I'm, iffy about, it'd probably be that midfielder. Just because as well, you've got the likes of like Chukwuemeka and others coming in now, but they'll try for sure. They'll try for someone. I'm sure of it. They already have, but yeah, that's one area where I think we could wait for the summer. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think if it's not Enzo Fernandez and there's no one else available in the January window, then I think they will push it to the summer window, and then they'll just go for a couple. They'll have a couple targets, and then they'll just narrow it down and go for a couple. I think we need 2 anyway, in my opinion. And if Jorginho leaves and Kante stays, and Koval, I'm assuming you'll probably stay, I think we're still going to need 2 in there. I agree. I mean, I don't know about the right back area. I know you're saying, I agree, that should be the motive. The mindset should be thinking of that. I just don't feel that from what we've seen, in the past and even up to now, like, I don't feel that they look at it as a priority too much because of Reece James. It's like, well, he's going to be back in a couple of weeks, so we'll just, wait for Reece James. That's how I feel. That is how I feel when I look at that position at the moment. It kind of annoys me, because I think we do need better quality in that position. Azpilicueta's not it. We need something there. I just don't think that they're thinking like that. The forward line, I think they are. I think at the moment, the forward line is the priority. I think they are looking at that and thinking, do you know what, we need to sort this out, especially with some of the injuries. And I know some of them are coming back, but we know Ziyech don't want to be there. There's a chance that Havertz may stay or go. All right, Mount will be there. Pulisic, do we even think he will be here in the summer? Think he's going to commit to Chelsea? Don't know. I think the forward line's a lot. There's a lot that needs to be done in the forward line, and that's without Aubameyang disappearing and trying to get rid of him, and then maybe striker. I mean, we've got Nkunku coming in. Forgot about that. Yeah, we've got Nkunku coming in anyway. But yeah, I think the forward line, the midfield, and equally, I think we're also going to look at the goalie in the summer. I don't think Kepa and Mendy, if they don't show some sort of form in this next half, I think he's going to buy a goalie. And then I think we'll probably end up losing one of the two. Whoever, I don't know. I mean, Mendy's still not agreed his contract, has he? He's been been.
It'll be Mendy. Mendy's going to leave. I'm sure of that. Pretty sure.
But then you've got Kepa on what, 180? Is he on what, 170 at the moment as a second goalie? He's not going to want to be second, even though that's what he is, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot that we need to sort. But on top of that, we've bought a lot of youngsters. And how do these youngsters get in the team? We bought in Datro Fofana.
Yeah, they're not all for the first team, Jem. That's one thing that I'll say. They're not.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Well, they're not all for these players aren't. You don't sign every player for the first team. They'll go on loan. They might be part of top model. So I think Chelsea fans need to calm down with the whole how do we fit everyone in? It's such a panic. They know what they're doing to a certain extent.
But equally, you've got to have a balance with that. There's no point of us spending the money we have on all these youngsters and not seeing any of them break through, right?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, some could just be flipped on for profit. Not every signing is for
I get that.
Playing for Chelsea.
No, I get that.
They'll buy a lot of young players, and only the very best will make it into the
That's
first.
My point. I think there's incentives in these contracts for pushing them to try and get themselves into the first team.
Yeah, there is, but with that, that means going on loan as well. You don't just come in and look, I'll start on the bench now, and that's not how it works.
No, they've got to build their way up. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, do we feel that even though we look at the squad depth and we know it's another issue in itself. Even if we sort out the core 11, we need better quality on the bench. Equally, I think some of them should be the youngsters. I think Lewis Hall should be on the bench or in the team. I'm not sure on Hutchinson, but I know Carney should be in there. I don't think Hutchinson's ready. Datro Fofana, I don't know. He'd probably go out on loan, and then in the summer they will decide whether he can be as backup if Aubameyang fucks off. Whether we got Nkunku and Broa then. Casadei. I don't know with Casadei. I'm not too sure. And there's others, isn't there, that we're obviously looking to bring in as well. So it's I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how we utilise and move forward with that as well. We have got Man City. Is it on Sunday? I think it's Sunday, haven't we, again, in the Cup. Quick word on that, players. Are we going out? Are we going to win one of these games against Man City? What do you think?
Depends on the team City play, I guess. But even so, I mean, their rotated team is just ridiculous. So, Grealish and Mahrez didn't even start yesterday. They came on, so they'll probably start. So great. We'll probably go out, but I don't know if there's a game that we will win. It will be this one. I think we did very well again in the cup tie against them last time. So let's see.
We will see. Listen, you're going to see more of Pies on the channel as well. We've obviously got the whole January. There's going to be some Chelsea going to be busy. We expect them to be busy. Who it's going to be, we'll yet to see. But when we do, I'm sure Pies will, when he's available, will be joining me on the show to discuss some of these signings as well. Thanks for coming on as always, mate. It's been an hour and 30 minutes. Any sort of final thoughts, last words that you want to finish off on Chelsea?
Not really. Just ride the wave, I guess. See what happens in the next few games. Try and find positives, even though there's not many right now. Try and stick together as much as possible. And been good to be back on.
Yeah, it has been 400 people all the way through, Pies, as well. It's been a nice show with the mixture of the Chelsea Fans TV and GNA TV community together. So thank you all 400 plus that have been on all the way through. I've given you 3 shows in 3 days. I'm not going to be around. I'm not going to be around tomorrow, guys. So I'll leave that one. Sunday, again, probably not, and then probably back Monday. Ben Jacobs has said he's coming on Tuesday. I think he said potentially. So we'll see what transpires with Chelsea within that period. If there's any new links with Enzo, if there's any more new targets for Chelsea that we were looking to be looking into going to next week, and yeah, we'll be going from there, a new fresh week as well. So, guys, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Have fun. And don't stress out too much on the Chelsea side of things. We're all hoping eventually they will sort itself out soon. But smash a like, subscribe, as always, as well to the channel. And leave a comment below as well. Take care, guys. See you later.